Today, I'm reunited with the lead actor from my film Soldier Song. Just, I'm not the one that has to relax. I'm the one who has to relax, I guess. I mean, because I don't know. I'm the one who you always called. You always said I was the one who was uptight, right? I mean,
well, you worry about things more than I do.
Right, exactly. But that's why we used to get into that whole thing, where I'd say we argue all the time, and you say no, we banter.
Right.
It was bantering. No. So, the person I'm having fun with today, this is just great. Tom Ford, and you are the creator of Boqua, and you're going to tell us about that. Mm-hmm. But some of you may recognize Tom as the star of my film Soldier Song. And, I hope so, actually. I actually do, because it's made its way around. Mm-hmm. It actually has, and I mean, I'm sorry it's still relevant, actually.
Well, it is, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, it's just terribly. But this adventure of yours takes you back to your actual
my roots. My degree, my roots. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And I got it right this time. Exercise science, is that
correct.
What you called it?
That's
now,
correct.
How? I almost want to say, because something I thought about asking. What is that? Is that different from? I've heard of other degrees that have like fitness in the title of things. How is that different?
Well, you have, exercise physiology, exercise science, fitness, being a PE teacher. They're all different. Exercise science is very more related to, say, exercise physiology.
Oh, okay.
But it is more of kind of the science of exercise, kind of study of exercise and understanding the science behind exercise. And so they're all very related. Kinesiology is the study of movement.
Okay.
Exercise science, I've got to know about kinesiology, I've got to know about health. So it's a little bit of a round robin of everything. Okay,
so this would be like even understanding how different types of exercise affect the muscles and why and all of that.
Yep, but my specialty was more in sports medicine. So I did an internship in college basically for 4 years with the football team to be an athletic trainer.
Okay.
And so that's where Boqua and Boques came from, was from my athletic training background.
Okay, so when you say athletic trainer, how is that like different than fitness coach and things like that? Just for people who might want to know.
An athletic trainer basically is a sports EMT, if you will. They help athletes stay in shape, and they help them rehab with injuries. But a lot of it is also prevention, keeping them from getting hurt. But knowing how to take care of them when they do get hurt, how to handle emergencies on the football field, dealing with, cuts, broken bones, things like that. But also rehab and exercise and how to keep them in shape.
Oh, okay.
So it's first aid, prevention, and exercise and rehab, basically, for an athletic trainer. But you work with athletes.
Okay,
so you're specifically working with athletes. I worked with as exercise science, I can work with all populations, and I have. I've worked with the elderly, athletes, kids, adults, whatever. But athletic training, more or less, is geared more towards the science and prevention of injuries for athletes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know that a lot of times, like when I'm watching a college football game or something, somebody will talk about the trainer or whatever, and I never did know what they did, and I didn't realize that was you all this time.
That was me. So like when you see a football game, you see if somebody gets hurt, the guys that come out to the field, that's an athletic trainer.
Okay.
The ones giving out water, those are usually athletic trainers or student trainers or interns.
Oh,
trying to be athletic trainers as well. So
that's actually very interesting. So then Boqua, because I've seen that is an exercise program, and it's for the water.
It's water.
It's
water
for
based.
the water. It's water based. So is that something, because you were talking about injury, is that something that exercising in water would help prevent injury, essentially?
It can. I picked up, actually, as an athletic trainer, I learned about aquatic exercise or aquatic rehab with an internship that I did with the Philadelphia Eagles. I worked their summer camp as an intern athletic trainer, and the head athletic trainer knew I had water background. I was a lifeguard and swimmer and things like that. And so me and another student trainer, intern trainer, he said, I want to start working out in the water, and guys with lower extremity injuries and things like that, I want you guys to figure it out. And so literally the head trainer said, figure it out, create, get these guys back in shape utilizing the water. So that was 1985 when I was introduced to aquatic exercise and aquatic rehab.
Okay.
And so fast forward to 2004, I was working out in the water. I did different workouts, swimming and things, and I was working with a piece of equipment that another company made. And so I created a program for myself, went to the aquatics director at the JCC.
Okay, and for people who are not in Indianapolis, that is our Jewish Community Center.
And so I asked the aquatics director if I could start a program. So she said, sure, great. And so in 2004, I started my first Boqua class.
Okay.
And with the equipment, they had 15 pieces of these equipment. It's actually made by Speedo, and Speedo didn't make it anymore.
Okay.
And so they had 15 pairs, so I was using them in the class, but they started breaking. But they were older and they were getting a little more brittle, and I was thinking, well, I could probably come up with something. So I did. And so 3 years of development, I came up with...
I love that because he's got show and tell here.
Boats.
Yay! Let's see, I love that.
And so it's based on the design of what Speedo made and how I made it different. This looks nothing like what Speedo has.
Okay.
But it is the same type of equipment, and it's a piece of resistant aquatic exercise equipment, meaning no matter how you move it in the water, fast, slow, up, down, around, you're going to get resistance. Whereas you have something out of styrofoam, they call that assistive, because it's going to want to assist you up and float in the water.
Okay.
So you're getting basically resistance in one direction. This gets resistance in all directions. Now if I hold it this way, or hold it like you are, okay, that's what I call open. This is what I call closed. So if I'm here, if I'm going to go through the water this way, I get that resistance. If I turn it this way, like you have it, and I go this way, same direction, that's going to cut through the water a little bit faster.
Right.
I'm going to be able to go through the water faster with less resistance. And so the faster you use these, or a piece of equipment like this, the harder it gets.
Okay.
So the stronger you get, or the faster you get, the stronger you will get.
Okay.
Now the other thing I did with these is I can also put them together.
Okay.
So if y'all want to use them as a paddle, as a baseball bat, as a hockey stick, doing all those motions in
Right,
the water.
because you had said something about doing the motions from other sports actually in the water with this program.
Correct.
Right?
Boqua, the program I created based on athletics and athletic movement, where a lot of aquatic exercise programs are more dance-based. This is more athletic-based. So you're boxing, you're kicking, you're jumping. Jumping jacks, working out in the gym, like with a weight, running, jumping, kicking. And so all those things I do in the water. But the idea is to work your core. So you're up all the time and you're engaging your core all the time, like an athlete would do if they're playing basketball or boxing or whatever. They're always using their core to make sure that their form is good. So that's how all that tied together to create both Boqua, which is the aquatic programming, and Boques, which is the equipment.
Yay!
So that's kind of how that came about.
Yeah. So you've been doing this program then since 2004?
Since 2004.
Okay.
Started with one class. Now currently I teach 13 classes a week, but I have 4 types of different Boqua classes.
Okay.
I have a class that's in the deep water, which is no impact, or very little impact because you're floating in the water. You either have a belt on or you're sitting on a noodle.
Okay.
A styrofoam noodle, so it'll keep you up. I have Boqua, which is in the shallow end, which is, I'll say, a moderate intensity. You're on the ground, so the water's about chest deep, and it's usually about an hour class. I have Boqua boot camp, which is kind of Boqua on steroids. And of course, when you put boot camp to a program, people think, oh wow, it must be harder, so therefore it must be better.
Right.
People like it, so I do have a Boqua boot camp.
So you have a boot camp because people are looking for things called boot camp.
Just something a little different. And then I also have a balance class to help people improve their balance, because as we get older, if we don't exercise, our muscles get weaker.
Right.
If you don't work your balance, or you don't ride a bike or pay attention to your balance, you lose balance.
Okay.
And so I've created a program that helps people regain that balance back and get their brain and their body back in sync.
Now, is there, for the balance thing, and I do have a reason for asking, is there like a point of balance loss in people where you just can't get it back at all?
Well, as we get older, we'll lose it. It's kind of like bone density. As you get older, your bone density can get smaller and smaller, reduce. So the balance that you have at 70 is going to be different than the balance you have at 18.
Right.
However, you want to keep that balance up as much as you can. And so you may not get it back fully, but you can get it back, and you can, so to help with walking and falling and preventing falls and things like that.
Okay. So you've got the balance thing, you've got in general the exercise, so it will give you cardio as well as strength. Is that what I'm understanding?
Depending on the program, like the Boqua Deep and the Boqua Boot Camp are all very aerobic.
Okay.
But because you have a piece of equipment and you're working against the water, you're getting a strength component to it.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the boot camp is going to be a little more strenuous than Boqua and Boqua Deep because you're floating. It is more cardio than strength, but you will get strength gains as well.
Okay. Now, you said these classes are about an hour or something?
Boqua Boot Camp and Boqua Balance are usually about 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then Boqua Deep and Boqua about an hour. But I can cater them to anybody and make them as long or as short as I want.
Okay, and then like how many, what do you call them, sessions or whatever a week do you recommend or things like that? Or
well, it's like exercise. It's up to the individual. I mean, I have people, like I said, I have classes at least 6 days a week in different places, the JCC and the Rivi. And there are people that take the class 4 and 5 days a week.
Oh, okay.
So it is unlike land-based activity, because you're not working against gravity, if you will. The water supports you. You don't get as sore. So, for example, if you're doing a curl in the gym, okay, you can do a negative or concentric or eccentric load. Concentric being coming up, muscle gets shorter. Eccentric going down. Eccentric loads are really what kind of do a lot of, it's going to sound bad, tearing of muscle when you work out. Okay. And that's a negative. Okay, you really can't do an eccentric load in the water.
Okay.
It's not impossible. It does happen, but 90%, and I'm kind of making that up. I don't know exactly the number, but a high percentage of the motion that you do in the water is concentric. So you don't get the muscle soreness that you do on land.
Okay. But so if somebody said, I only have time for like one time
class
a week, is there going to be a benefit to that?
Sure. Well, I mean, yes, some exercise is better than no exercise. Okay. And I would, for again, depending on age and your health issues and things going on, I would recommend at least 3 days a week of doing something. If it's in the water, if it's on land, walking, whatever.
Okay. And also, I think we've been talking, and you had said that this is good exercise too for people who've been injured.
Absolutely, because it's low impact. You don't get that banging of the joints. Plus, water supports the joints. Right. So if you have, say, a hurt ankle or a hurt knee, whatever, the water actually puts pressure on your body, so it helps with that swelling. But water allows you to work through a bigger range of motion. It frees you, because water supports you, and you're not working against gravity. Where gravity is greatly reduced depending on how deep you are in the water. That allows you to work through a fuller range of motion, even if you're injured. Okay. Because of all that support and all those things. So it's low impact, high energy, easier on your joints, because on land, if you're playing basketball, tennis, you're bouncing on a hard court. Yeah. It's gonna do damage to you. You're taking that away. So it's much better for your body in the sense of impact injuries.
Oh, okay. So is this just something that's in Indiana, or has it found its way elsewhere?
For the most part, it's in Indiana. I have taken it to New York. I have shown different, I've trained other trainers that have taken it to Florida. The Boqs have been basically around the world. I've sold them in about 38 states, probably 2 countries, been to 3 or 4. Boqua, the exercise programming, again, mostly is here. Right now, I'm the one that created it. And so when I created the Boqs are made in Indiana. So if you're like Hoosiers, Hoosier made.
I like that. I also, and people who know me, I am really big on small, like I call local businesses, things like that. I think that's a great thing to support.
Yeah, and so I created it at the JCC, created the programming and the equipment at the JCC. So the JCC is a big history with me.
Okay.
And so, it's locally owned, bred, built. They're actually made in Noblesville, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So
awesome.
the plant's up there. But I have taken it, like I said, I have taken it to other places. And there are people that, friends of mine in New York, New Jersey have taken it. And they've taken it to Florida, Seattle, Kansas City, a lot of different places.
Okay, so do you offer certification training then for this?
I do. I've created a certification. I'm not affiliated with the AEA or CECs yet, but I am trying to train other people so more classes can get other places because I can't be everywhere at one time.
Okay, sounds great. So
yeah.
So I was gonna say these do actually look kind of fun. I mean, there's just something fun about the design. I don't know.
Well, and I made them orange.
Yeah.
They're orange for a couple reasons. One, nothing out there other than inner tubes, noodles are all kinds of fun colors. But most aquatic exercise equipment's usually blue or green or some fashion of that.
But this certainly stands out in the water.
Stands out, you can see it, but part of that is I went to Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech's colors are maroon and orange.
Oh.
And so my logos are all kind of have the maroon and orange flair to it. So that's why they're orange.
That's why they're orange.
You can't forget them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. Now, but please, if Virginia Tech isn't your school, don't hold it against them, right?
That's right.
Or you can associate orange with all kinds of other things.
Oh yeah, you got Tennessee, you got University of Florida, Syracuse, you got all kinds of universities.
Yeah.
But I can make them any color if I want, but currently they're orange.
Oh, okay. Maybe eventually you'll like get into the different colors or something. People love.
So I can make them all kinds of colors.
That's cool.
So
yeah. So it's been fun having you.
Thank you.
It's all
fun
the
to be back.
information. Yeah, great. Yeah, you don't know what other people don't know what's gone through to get this interview to some degree. But I will see you next time wherever you'll be at the JCC.
You'll see me at the J or the Ruby.
For more information about taking Boqua classes or becoming an instructor, please visit boqfitness.com or email Tom at boqfitness.com.